Welcome back, happiness builders. Here is Alex for 4th episode on this series of video. This is a series, so if you have not seen the 3 first episodes, go check them out, link in the description below. For this episode, let's just go back on the sketch that we had on the last video. So I told you about the fact that in order to develop your own personality, in order to create it, you need to live up hacking other people's personality in order to create your own. And we talked about how to do it with this sketch. However, there is a way to develop your own personality which fits you by hacking other people's personality. And this is super important because this is one of the best ways that you can go about owning your personality. So let's explain how to do that. I remember this was on the 3rd episode, but on the 2nd one, we also talked about the interpretation of your behaviors. So let's draw it again like that up. Your interpretations and their interpretations. And remember that what influences other people's reaction, other people's thought, other people's impression over you, over your personality, over your behavior, over who you are, and even over your own internal parameters is never really the behavior in itself. It's never really your personality in itself. It's never really your actions in themselves. It's the dynamics which are conveyed from those behaviors, which needs to be interpreted. There needs to be an interpretation of that. So if you don't remember that, go check again the 2nd episode. Now, when you have something in your behavior, in your personality that you don't like, something that you don't like, well, the first basic natural strategy is to get rid of it, replace it with something else. Let's just take the basic example of being very introverted, being shy, not talking much, etc. Basic example that you might want to change. So first basic and natural intuitive strategy is to get rid of it and replace it by something else. Finding behaviors in order to be less introverted, in order to be more talkative, etc. However, first, sometimes you will not be able to do it, or at least not as much as you would like to. But secondly, sometimes it would be a mistake to do that. Sometimes it can be changed. Sometimes it can be flipped into an actual strength. And this is where personality hacking is important and is going to save your life. Let's say that you have something in your personality up. Let's call it A, the A trait that you don't like. So for example, you're introverted, for example. Now, what's wrong with being introverted? It's not the fact of being introverted in itself. The problem with it are dynamics which are caused by that. Dynamics which are conveyed to other people by that. This is the real problem. This is when the behavior leaves your interpretations, comes from their interpretations and gets into their mind, into their awareness, that now it's going to have a good or bad influence and it's going to make it more difficult for you. But it has to pass this place, the interpretations. This is what the dynamic is going to be interpreted. Now, here is what you're going to do. You're going to find out, think about people who have the exact same trait that you don't like about yourself. Here, for this example, it's introversion. For example, may it be that you have weird teeth. May it even be that you think that you are super ugly. Even if it's not the case, maybe you believe that. Maybe it's about your voice, maybe it's about your kind of humor, maybe it's about your lack of humor. May it be anything. Find out people who have this exact same trait, but who are super attractive, who are extremely charismatic, attractive, which have the success that you want to have, which convey what you want to convey, which leave the impression that you want to leave. And what you're going to do from there is the same as in the previous video. So, well, you're going to find someone who has the same trait, so A, let's say, but who are super attractive. Then you're going to do like in the previous video, you take it up. You will do some theory. You will think about it. You will use your brain and you will think about why is it attractive with them. And I didn't precise it, but the best way to do it is to take someone who is attractive, especially because of this trait. Or maybe not especially because of it, but part of it. For example, let's say you think you're ugly. Take someone who is ugly, but actually his charisma comes in part from that. Like his charisma comes from, well, he's not that much physically attractive, but that makes him attractive. Why? And I swear there's a ton of people like that. It's easy to find. Take out celebrities, take out famous people, or even people that you know that you have met in your life. Or even when you become very good at that, you can imagine in your head, you can create those characters in your head and create them, and then hack those people that you have created. But this is way more abstract. So first, with people who exist, you're going to think, okay, what is the dynamic which is conveyed by this trait in him? Why this person, the fact that he's introverted, makes him charismatic, makes him attractive? What is it that is attractive, that I like about his introversion? And you will discover a lot of dynamic. For example, let's write X, Y, Z. It will be 3 things. For example, X would be that it look like they just don't need to talk. They don't need people's validation. They are fine with themselves. They don't care about how people judge them. And so actually the fact that they can handle this pressure is super attractive. Y would be, for example, that it makes them look extremely smart, maybe, I don't know. And Z might be that maybe it creates attention. The fact that they don't talk much makes them intense as a person. And so their introversion is a super powerful help for their charisma for those 3 reasons. And now is the funny part. It's that how do we interpret the things? How do you go from A to this, and how for you go from A to people think you're not interesting? Well, what's the difference? How does it happen? It's because in order to interpret one thing, we look at other thing. What conveys dynamic are the synthesis of multiple behavior. We don't take one behavior, we take one behavior and then we look at references. It says everything in reality, everything is relative. We take a point, we take something, and then we look at a referential, something to refer ourselves in order to know what is this point about. We don't know what anything is without putting it in relation with other stuff. This is how we know about reality. So people will look at this trait about you, but to extract interpretation, to extract dynamics about it, to think stuffs about it, they are going to put this in relation with other stuff, with other behaviors, for example. And this is what you will want to find. You will go from A, from this person, you will extract the reason why it makes them charismatic and attractive, or whatever you want that they have. You're going to do some theory here. You're going to be like, okay, how do we go from A to X, Y, Z? What are the other behaviors? B, C, D, E, F, etc. that this person have, which when put in relation with A produces X, Y, Z. And now is the mistake to not do. Is that now if you try to hack this B, C, E, D, F, etc. Now if you try to hack that and put it in your personality, that now when people have your A up, they have attractive interpretations of it because you now have the same thing as him. Now that would be the mistake that we talked about in the 3rd video, and it will not work. We will go back on bad personality hacking. This is not what we want. The good hacking part is to get XYZ, to get the interpretations that come from it. This is the good part. But when it comes to the reasons why it's interpreted this way, when it comes to the other behaviors which leaves this interpretation, this we don't want to hack. We only want to hack abstract principle. The more specific it is, the less we want to hack it. We want to build it ourselves. So what you're going to do is that you're going to take XYZ, and instead of referring yourself to B, C, E, D, F that they have, instead of doing that, you can inspire yourself from it, but instead of doing it, you will just take XYZ. So the interpretation that comes from it, the fact that it creates attention, the fact that it looks like they don't need to talk, they don't give a shit, the fact that maybe it makes them really chill, it makes them relax, or they look like this, whatever, you're going to take that and think, okay, what are the behaviors that I can intuitively, by myself, have, the thing that I could tweak in my personality, the other behaviors that I could tweak, which will lead to generating that. So you will basically create your own B, C, E, D, F. You will create your own and get them in your personality. B, C, D, E, F, exactly in the same way that we did in the third video. So at this point, you're basically just going to do the same thing as in the third video that we did with omega. Here your omega is multiple omegas, multiple things, and you're going to apply the third video now. But so this fourth episode is basically the same as the third. It's about hacking something abstract and then integrating it to your personality from your core and not hacking the specific. But this time we are getting this by looking at things that you already have, not things that you want to get that you don't have from their personality, but things that you have in common with them, something that you both have in common. And you're going to hack the principle that allows them to own it in an attractive way. And then you get it in your personality. Okay, let's wrap it up. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe for next video. It's a series of videos. If you don't want to miss the next episode, subscribe or check it out if it's already out, link in the description. Check out the Enlightened Dating course, link in the description. Everything there is to know about dating in its entire depth. Every single thing there is to know. Nothing is left out. Check out also the free masterclass conversation, 1 hour free masterclass conversation, link in the description as well. And when it comes to YouTube or whatever platform you're watching this video within, I'm going to tell you, see you next week.